The School of Hard Knocks 26 took place at the Art Hauser Center in Prince Albert. Amateur fighters from across Canada battled it out in the Hard Knocks cage.
To the School of Hard Knocks.
This School of Hard Knocks fight is our fourth bout of the evening and is an amateur fight in the 135-pound division and is brought to you by JRMCC. And now, let's meet the fighters.
So coming down to the cage now, out of the blue corner, Chad Halkett, Spartan MMA, the gym he trains under, Stanley Mission, Saskatchewan. This 135-pounder making his amateur debut as he comes out for Hard Knocks 26. And his older brother will be fighting tonight later on the card as well.
We got another striker here coming our way for this fight. We can see some big punches. He admits that's his strength, throwing those punches. Not much of a ground game, but he's been working on it.
And we were talking earlier about not wanting to go to the judges. Chad specifically saying that that is the goal, is to make sure he gets the finish and doesn't want to get to the judges, because like we've seen in MMA repeatedly, once it gets to the judges, it's really anybody's fight. No matter how dominant you are, it's how the judge saw that dominance and whether or not they reward certain things more than others. So he wants to make sure that the judges don't get a chance to spoil his victory. Chad Halkett now in the blue corner, getting ready to meet his opponent, who is coming down to the cage now, Luke Benoit, out of LDP Martial Arts, right here in Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, the first hometown fighter we've had, coming in 1-0, just 18 years old. This 5'8" fighter is looking to continue his streak to start his career.
Well, again, we got two young fighters, both local talents. It should be interesting how the crowd cheers for this one.
A winner by TKO due to verbal tap out, which means his opponent yelled, "Stop, stop, please stop hitting me." And as a result, Luke Benoit gets his hand raised there and looking to try and get that again. An interesting story for Luke here as to why he got started in MMA in the first place.
Well, here's a kid who was a wrestler. He was a self-confessed wrestler. He got into, now he's fighting a striker tonight. Now, he wanted to, early on, he said, I got to get myself in shape. He confessed, he told himself, and MMA was obviously the way he started at the gym, and he's progressed to this point.
And now, the official Hard Knocks fighter introductions. In the TJ Pizza blue corner, it's his amateur debut. He's 19 years old and stands 5 feet, 4 inches tall. He weighed in at 127 pounds, fighting independently from Stanley Mission. Please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, Chad Halkett! And in the Flamins Fitness red corner, he's 1-0 as an amateur, 18 years old, and stands 5 feet, 8 inches tall. He weighed in at 136 pounds, fighting out of LDP Martial Arts from Prince Albert. Please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, Luke the New Benoit! This bout will be contested under amateur rules. The referee in charge of the Hard Knocks action is Mr. Brett Hamlin.
So both fighters with A bit of a display there when they got announced. Luc Benoit jumping and screaming, a big jump from Chad Halkett and a stomp as well. Both of them trying to assert their dominance over their opponent. Before the bell even rings, both these guys looking to get in their opponent's head.
Oh, I love the intensity. That's the way to come out tonight. Premier event in PA. Let's get it on.
So both fighters meet in the center of the cage. Luc Benoit in the black trunks with the red trim, the black and white for Chad Halkett out of the blue corner. And a big kick there thrown early. Gotta love lightweights as they go at it. And a big running, diving slam from Luc Benoit, dropping Chad Halkett down and is now in side control.
And the fans are eating that up. They love it.
It's not just the fans. That was awesome. Oh. Luc Benoit on top now of Chad Halkett, looking to drop strikes and find a way to the ground and pound victory, running his way through the ref and getting a warning for kicking the downed opponent. Not allowed to kick a downed opponent as he was on his way up, and now he has his back. This fight could be over pretty quickly.
Luc's wrestling experience coming into play. There it is.
The rear naked choke, an explosive victory from Luc Benoit, showing the camera some love as he gets the second win of his young MMA career.
Showman right to the end. Love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the official decision brought to you by JRMCC. At 54 seconds in the very first round, the winner by tap out due to rear naked choke in the red corner, Luc "the New" Benoit!
To find out more about Hard Knocks Fighting and upcoming Hard Knocks events, please visit hardknocksfighting.com.
This School of Hard Knocks fight is an amateur bout in the 205-pound division and is brought to you by Feature Productions. And now, let's meet the fighters.
So coming down to the cage now, out of the blue corner, Randy Coyer from Thompson Mixed Martial Arts in Thompson, Manitoba. The 26-year-old making his amateur debut, standing 6'2", 205 pounds. And these two big boys that are ready to go.
Oh, here's a big guy. Now, he may live in Thompson, but he was born here in PA. Hometown crowd should respect that as well. Here's a guy who's been training for 6 years. He says he's now ready. He's on his other buddies get in the cage. He's now ready to show on what he can do.
Says he considers himself primarily a submission wrestler and came down with the Thompson Wrestling hoodie on, showing the club that he works out there. Also talks about his striking. He said it's good, but it's not his best. And so we should see this guy try and take the fight to the ground early.
Well, some of these guys, too, they know each other from down the road. But here are two guys ready to get in the cage. Randy knows nothing about his opponent, and that may help him actually tonight. May loosen his nerves a bit, may help his focus. Get in the cage and show what he can do. He's got to focus on that tonight.
As Josh Hines now makes his way down to the cage out of Estevan Combat Sports in Estevan, Saskatchewan.
Hey, here's a boy who makes no qualms about loving to fight. He told us earlier he just loves to get in that cage, and he's ready to go tonight. We got two big boys going to toe-to-toe.
And he says he's been training for the last 5 years MMA, had a couple fights fall through, which is why he hasn't had a fight to this point, but he's the jiu-jitsu instructor at Estevan Combat Sports. So when we talk about Randy Coyer might want to take this fight to the ground, he might want to watch out for the jiu-jitsu of Josh Hines, because we've seen the jits from several of the Estevan Combat Sports fighters, and if he's teaching them, you got to assume that he knows how to do it too, and he does it well.
Well, we may see a longer fight this one. This could be a little bit more technical than our previous fights. We got two guys who confess that striking is not their strength. They rely on their jiu-jitsu, on their ground game, and I'm expecting that to play into their roles tonight in their fights.
Hines, a winner of gold medal in jiu-jitsu tournaments in both Regina and Winnipeg.
And now, the official Hard Knocks Fighter introductions. In the TJ's Pizza blue corner, It's his amateur debut. He's 26 years old and stands 6 feet, 2 inches tall. He weighed in at 204 1/2 pounds, fighting out of Thompson Mixed Martial Arts from Thompson, Manitoba. Please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, Randy Coyer. And in the Flamin's Fitness red corner, it's his amateur debut. He's 24 years old and stands 5 feet, 10 inches tall. He weighed in at 204 1/2 pounds, fighting out of Estevan Combat Sports from Estevan. Please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, Josh Hines. This bout will be contested under amateur rules. The referee in charge of the Hard Knocks action is Mr. Brett Hamlin.
Brett Hamlin in charge of the action here for our 6th fight of the night as Josh Hines comes out in the black trunks with white trim from the red corner. Out of the blue corner, it's Randy Coyer in the black trunks with gold trim as we get set for our 205-pound fighters to get it done. Excuse me.
We've had quick finishes for all 5 fights so far. We'll see how this one goes here. Hopefully more than 1 round. We got 2 guys who love their ground game, and I'm expecting they will go to that, play to their strengths.
So Hines and Coyer meet in the center of the cage, touch gloves, a nice leg kick there thrown by Hines, and immediately going for the takedown is Randy Coyer.
Oh, some big strikes being thrown right at the start. It's interesting, both guys looking pretty comfortable in the cage right now, pretty relaxed. They're not coming out firing too hard, not risking to tire themselves out too quickly.
Nice takedown there from Coyer to land inside control, and we'll see what he can do with it from here. Of course, very comfortable on his back is Josh Hines, potentially looking for a submission already, trying to bend that arm back and pick up the win with a submission there, and now he's got it back, and it might not be long. Yeah, I thought that was a tap there, finally the tap.
Well, no surprise, they went to the ground pretty early. I was hoping to go a little longer than the 30 or 40 seconds that it was, but not a bad fight overall.
That number 2 sign is just never going to see the light of day here at Hard Knocks 26 as yet another fight ends in round number 1. Josh Hines successful in his debut. On the other side, Randy Coyer have to go back to the drawing board and work his jiu-jitsu a little more and prevent that stoppage from happening to him the next time.
Well, I think Randy got caught. He was trying to throw the punches, the ground and pound, and then simply Josh took advantage of the arm when he could, grabbed it and finished it off.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the official decision brought to you by Feature Productions. At 43 seconds in the very first round, referee Brett Hamlin stops this bout. The winner by tap out due to Kimura in the red corner, Josh Hines.
Josh, he comes in, he secures the takedown, and then after that, you knew where that arm was, and you were going to tear it right off his body until he tapped.
Yeah, I seen the opening there and grabbed hold of the arm, and I didn't want to give it up, so went with it and worked out. So.
Now, it looked like he almost tapped at one point. The referee just about jumped in, and we can see it come over here, and that's where you got it. Gets to a pretty sick angle before he finally tapped out.
Yeah, no, like I said, I felt that it was deep, and you don't want to give up on stuff like that, and I just kept pushing, and tapped, so it was good.
Now, I'm sure you got sponsors, coaches to thank.
Yeah, I'd like to thank all my guys at the club, my coaches, Chris, Mark, Daku, all my training partners for the last 4 months, guys up in Lethbridge, and guys back home. I'd like to thank my father and my sister for coming tonight as well. I know it's tough to watch your own kid in here, so.
You took 5 years training before you got into the cage for the first time. Safe to say it won't be another 5 years before we see you again?
No, I'll be in here very soon, very soon.
All right, he'll be back very soon. Let's hear it for your winner, ladies and gentlemen, Josh Hines.
out more about Hard Knocks Fighting and upcoming Hard Knocks events, please visit hardknocksfighting.com.
This school of Hard Knocks Fight is an amateur bout in the 155-pound division and is brought to you by Northern Lights Casino. And now, let's meet the fighters.
Back here after a short intermission at the Hard Knocks Fighting Championship, School of Hard Knocks 26. You are watching Nick Grandbois come down to take on Ben Oliverio. Grandbois with a 1-2 record, won his last fight here in the Hard Knocks Fighting Championship, won as a result of ground and pound, and is going to look to do the same again tonight.
It's interesting, coming out to the song Invincible, and then find out tonight how invincible he is. Here's a guy who grew up idolizing his dad. The second generation fighter to his dad, who was a boxer and a wrestler. Let's see if Nick is just as good.
Again, out of the United Fighter MMA camp, and Jesse Bongfeld runs the camp there and brings us a lot of fighters, especially when we're out here in Saskatchewan. And if Nick Grandbois looks a little different to you, that's because he's added 15 pounds of muscle for this fight, and said as a result, cutting weight became easier because it was coming out of his muscles. It was easier to lose that weight and then put it back on once he had weighed in. So Nick Grandbois coming in and looking to get back to an even record at 2-2.
Well, conditioning is a big part of the sport, and Nick is looking jacked. He's looking ready for his fight tonight. You can tell he's been working hard. He's feeling better, like you said, about his body shape, and that's going to be a big role in what your confidence goes in when you get in that cage.
Nick Grandbois, of course, a bit of a story here in the Hard Knocks Fighting Championship as well, as he had a baby born on the day of his first fight here with us in Hard Knocks. As a result, lost that fight. A little distracted was Nick Grandbois in that fight, and justifiably so, as he found himself a new father at 3 a.m. the day of his fight, and now says that the baby's starting to teeth, so starting to lose sleep again. Nick Grandbois, somebody who hasn't lost any sleep due to children, or at least I hope not. 18 years old, Ben Oliverio coming down to the cage now.
I don't know, 16 years from now we could have a third generation Grandbois fight.
Yeah, you never know. The amateur kickboxer is Ben Oliverio, as he comes down to the cage out of the Winnipeg Amateur Academy of Mixed Martial Arts out of Winnipeg, Manitoba. WAMA has never lost a fight in the Hard Knocks Fighting Championship.
Oh,
they have lost fights outside of Hard Knocks, but inside Hard Knocks, no WAMA fighter has ever been defeated. And when I talked to Ben Oliverio about it, he said, no pressure, it doesn't mean anything. Fighters come back with losses quite, on a regular basis. I won't say frequently, because that makes them sound like they're losing all the time. But he said it's not going to be that big a deal if he doesn't get a win. Right now, starting his amateur career, it's more about cage time and getting in and fighting a guy for real than it is about the victory.
Oh, think about the experience that he's learning. The guys in WAMA, one of the best MMA schools in all the country, here tonight. That's his support as he's coming here tonight. And when you're coming into a new city like PA, Hard Knocks for the first time, it can be a bit overwhelming. Having those friends and family around you that he's got with him tonight, that's got to help.
Well, and talking to Ben as well, he said that he's just turned 18 years old, and the WAMA coaches won't let their fighters fight until they hit 17 and a half before they'll let them get into the cage. We have seen a couple 16-year-old fighters here tonight, but they figure they need that seasoning. And now, as a result, Ben Oliverio coming into the cage with a wealth of experience. He's been training jiu-jitsu for 4 years, MMA for the last 3, and it gives him a little more experience than we would see in some of our younger fighters.
And now, the official Hard Knocks Fighter introductions. In the TJ's Pizza blue corner, he's 1-2 as an amateur, 31 years old, and stands 5 feet, 11 inches tall. He weighed in at 155 1/2 pounds, fighting out of United Fighter MMA from Kenora. Please welcome Hard Knocks Fighter, Nick Legionnaire Grandbois. And In the Flamin's Fitness red corner, it's his amateur debut. He's 18 years old and stands 6 feet tall. He weighed in at 153 pounds, fighting out of Winnipeg Academy of MMA. Please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, Ben Quiet Oliverio. This bout will be contested under amateur rules. The referee in charge of the Hard Knocks action is Mr. Elvis Lyon.
Elvis Lyon in charge of the referee is in charge of the referee. He's in charge of the action because he is the referee as he gets set for our 7th fight of the night as Ben Oliveiro comes out in the black and white Muay Thai trunks from the red corner, the white trunks with black trim on the blue corner for Nick Grandbois as he throws the first strike after getting a kick and keeps coming forward with strikes, answered with kicks, and now Grandbois has Oliveiro up against the cage.
Oliveiro looking pretty calm. I mean, he had some pretty nasty strikes. He took it right off the beginning, but he's up against the cage right now. He's looking for some kind of hold on Nick.
Has the double underhooks. Grandbois tried to throw him down, was unable to secure the takedown there, and will be looking for more of a judo throw here. Did fight judo for 8 years before becoming a mixed martial artist, did Nick Grandbois, and now he does execute the takedown and has Oliveiro down on the ground.
Oliveiro's on the bottom right now, but it looks like he's still looking pretty fair, pretty good shape right now. He's calm, and Grandbois is trying to twist him though.
Looked like he was trying for an arm there just a moment ago, tried to isolate the arm, had a shot at it there, ate a punch to the face, but then ended up leveraging him down. But Grandbois, good to the task, gets on top again.
Well, both fighters have been going back and forth, fighting for positioning here right now. Oliveiro's on the bottom right now, but he's comfortable there. Look at him. He's got a pretty good defensive strategy.
Grandbois on top, but an arm in trouble, trying to pull through the arm bar is Nick or Ben Oliveiro, and almost had it. Nick drops him on his head, but Oliveiro tries to hold on to that wrist and eats a couple punches for his trouble with just a minute and a half to go on our featurefights.ca fight clock, brought to us by Featured Productions.
That's some nice red welts on Oliveiro's body right at the beginning, and that's some of the elbow shots and the punches thrown by Grandbois.
Looked like Grandbois was trying for the guillotine choke and has the one arm in, but is unable to grab the other fist on the other side, and now it looks like he's trying to stretch him out, and it does have the other fist under there. It may just be a matter of time here for Ben Oliveiro. Now he pops out and now is able to posture up and get on his opponent and try for a choke of his own.
And look at him reverse it. I mean, we're going back and forth here. Great fight by both men here.
Time being called, a low blow thrown to Nick Grandbois. He is down and he is hurt. You saw the mouthpiece just drop right out of his mouth after that knee connected, and by the time Elvis Lyon had got in there, a punch to the side of the head for his trouble. He'll get a full 5 minutes, and hopefully he takes it.
Oh, Oliveiro looked right to his coaches after the shot. He's looking confident there right now. He's relaxed, not even breathing heavy yet. Coaches gave him the nod of approval. He's ready for whatever happens next.
So it'll take just a minute for Nick Grandbois to recover, as I'm sure it would anybody out there watching. And fortunately, we get to see the replay here. And you see it come, the knee will come right here. I mean, again, you saw the mouthpiece drop out immediately. Clearly, Nick is in some pain here. The audience giving it a bit of a boo, and Nick asking for a bucket, I believe, may be close to losing it.
Well, I think as every guy watched the screen right now, you saw every one of them wince as he took that knee shot. I mean, you got to protect the jewels. That's the bottom line.
Crawling on the cage floor. Again, he'll have 5 minutes to recover, but he doesn't look like he's going to get to. We did have a fight here, I believe it was 2 events ago, where a guy took a pretty brutal shot down low, and 5 minutes later he ended up coming back for the win. And why don't we just show this one more time? There it is, right? I mean, again, you saw the mouthpiece drop out.
There's the fans right behind. They're acknowledging again that the shot, I mean, it wasn't intentional, but
No.
it does happen in this sport.
No, certainly not an intentional low blow, and Nick trying to now jump them out and remove them from his stomach.
Get his breath back right now. And he's going to be feeling pretty frustrated too, because he thought, I bet he was in a position there to be winning the fight. He was close. He thought he had the choke on Oliveira, and all of a sudden Oliveira popped right back out and was back in the game.
Yeah. Again, 2 events ago, we did see a comeback performance from somebody who took this kind of shot, did take their full 5 minutes, and ended up with a win at 3 minutes of the 3rd round. Suffered a choke where the tap came just as the bell was going to be rung. And fortunately, we can stay on this camera shot because, of course, that features our ring girls there back over my shoulder. We haven't got a much chance to see them in the cage, though. Just no fights getting to a 2nd round yet. This our longest fight of the night, only by the virtue of the fact that Nick's been granted 5 minutes to recover.
Well, it looks like Nick's getting his breath back, but he still looks like he's in a lot of pain. I mean, that had to hurt. And it's going to affect his kicking strength. I mean, it's got to imagine, you can imagine if he can get his leg up now, any of his kicks, he's going to be looking for a ground game kind of offensive now.
And 3 minutes have gone by here in the 5 minutes for Nick Grandbois. Again, the full 5 minutes. I can't emphasize enough when this happens here in the Hard Knocks Fighting Championship to take the time. A lot of guys want to get up and say, no, I'm fine. I'll jump up and I'll get this done, and I'm going to show how big a man I am. And then they don't have the recovered strength. They don't have their breath recovered. They don't have the ability to get up and actually compete, and it ends up costing them the fight.
As we've seen tonight, a few seconds can make the difference. We've had 6 fights now, all ended in the 1st round, and it's because, not because it was a lopsided win, but because we had some technical issues. The technical fighters who within 1 second jumped on their opportunity and won the fight. So Nick had better hope he's ready.
And just about recovered here is Nick Grandbois. Unfortunately, just in time. I mean, he's still adjusting, as you can kind of see there in the cage. Still adjusting. He has 1 minute left. Just asking the timekeeper how much time he has left. Again, trying to shock the body into recovering here and catching his breath does Nick Grandbois.
What impact does this have on Ben? I mean, Ben's pacing back and forth here, waiting for the fight to start. He was in a great position there. He had just got the fight back in his side, and now he had to stop it. Now he's been pacing back and forth for the last 4 minutes. Does it shake his confidence, shake his focus at all?
Well, it's whether or not the adrenaline goes, because unlike Nick Grandbois, who has 3 fights on his record, Ben Oliveiro's in his 1st fight. And fighters have often told me that first fight, the adrenaline that hits you in that 1st minute, once it wears off, it really saps your strength. So we'll see whether or not Ben Oliveiro's strength is sapped a little here. And I mean, both fighters immediately going back to throwing. Nick Grandbois now showing no ill effects. He's coming out and making him pay for the low blow that he said. He shook it off and they shook hands, but you can tell there's a little extra in those punches from Nick Grandbois.
Well, I think there's a little more muscle on Grandbois' side of the ring right now. That's his strength, and he can push Ben Oliveira around all he wants. Ben's got to lock him up again. He's got to get him in that choke position again.
Both fighters swinging big, just 10 seconds left, and could it be we might get a 2nd round? A nice takedown there from Ben Oliveira. Going to be a tough round to score, as Oliveira, I thought, had the better of it up against the cage, but it was the striking of Nick Grandbois was decidedly in his favor.
Oh, well said there. Grandbois came out swinging hard, and Oliveira, I think, took some pretty heavy shots. He managed to block off some of them, but still, the look on his face and some of the welt on his body right now, Grandbois had an impact on him.
And you can hear the fans cheering the ring girl because, of course, this is just the first time the number 2 sign has been used in the event. A big kick caught and responded by Nick Grandbois there in the replay, and we'll hopefully get to see the takedown here as Oliveira swarms in, just misses the head kick, and then comes in just a moment later and secures a takedown, which may end up giving him the round at the end of the day, because you've got a pretty solid striking by Nick Grandbois, but you had the takedown and the dominance of the fight up against the cage. So a tough round to call there for Oliveira.
If I was Grand Bois right now, I'm using more of my strength to my advantage. He obviously has the power over Oliveira. Oliveira seems to be having the grappling to in his corner, but Grand Bois, I think, right, needs to use some of that, more of that strength and push Oliveira back.
Grand Bois coming out hard and throwing hard just like he had in round number 1. But now it's Oliveira coming forward, a big kick to the head, and now Oliveira's swarming. We'll see, this fight is now over.
Oh, he got
Oliveira comes out with a kick to the head and takes out Nick Grandbois, who throws his mouthpiece out into the crowd. A sweaty souvenir for a fan. Nick Grandbois goes down to a head kick. A nice finish there from Ben Oliveira.
Well, I was saying Grandbois is so fast and so strong, but the little guy, Ben Oliveira, had one opportunity, jumped on it, one quick kick, and that was it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the official decision, brought to you by Northern Lights Casino. At 16 seconds of the second round, referee Elvis Lyon stopped this bout. The winner by TKO in the red corner, Ben Quiet Oliverio.
Ben, couple times there in round number 1, looked like he had you up against it with strikes coming forward. Pretty tough chin you got for a rookie.
Thank you. He hits like a truck. It's good.
Now, an unfortunate incident in the first round. While Nick's taking time to recover, what does that do to you as you got to pace the other side of the cage?
It didn't take too much out of me, not mentally. It was completely unintentional, didn't mean to. Apologies to Nick and his camp.
Now, in the second, you come out, and hopefully we can get the replay up here on the big screen so you can see what the rest of us saw. A nice high kick that you tried a couple times before, but this time it connects.
It looks great. I like to see it. He's a really tough guy, and he was defending all my kicks for the first round. I'm glad I got it.
I'm sure you got coaches and sponsors to thank.
Big thanks to everyone at WAMA, Curtis Brigham, putting a lot of work with me, Colin putting a lot of work, Eric Perez, Riley, just everyone at WAMA.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it one more time for your winner, Ben Oliveira.
To find out more about Hard Knocks Fighting and upcoming Hard Knocks events, please visit hardknocksfighting.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, this School of Hard Knocks fight is an amateur bout in the 125-pound division and is brought to you by Big 4 Motors. In the Rig Pig Apparel blue corner, it's his amateur debut. He's 18 years old and stands 5 feet, 7 inches tall, and weighed in at 124 1/2 pounds, fighting out of the dungeon from Terrace, BC. Please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, Blake Snorri Sigvaldason. And in the Fireman's Fitness red corner, he's 2-0 as an amateur, 22 years old, and stands 5 feet, 7 inches tall, and weighed in at 124 1/2 pounds, fighting out of Gracie, Baja from Calgary. Please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, Keegan the Conditioner Oliver. This bout will be contested under amateur rules. The referee in charge of the Hard Knocks action is Mr. Len Coivisto.
So Sigvaldason in the blue corner with the black and white pattern trunks. The plain black trunks on Keegan the Conditioner Oliver.
It's a new one.
That is a new one. I hadn't heard that one before.
He's silky smooth, that's why.
I understand. Oliver takes the leg kick, immediately shoots. A nice sprawl there from Sigvaldason, but Oliver doing everything he can to push through it and rolls around and gets back to his feet. A nice exchange there, but a nice takedown defense from Sigvaldason.
Great takedown defense by Sigvaldason and throwing some great knees. Oliver trains with some of the best wrestlers in the country, and so you are going to see some great takedown defense so far by Sigvaldason, but continuing on in the continuity of the wrestling by Keegan Oliver. But very impressive by Sigvaldason, coming in with a game plans to work on his takedown defense, and you need it against a guy like Keegan Oliver, who's just known to take guys down over and over again.
So far, so good for Sigvaldason on the defense, but Oliver picks him right up off the ground and now has him down on the ground, but in a guard, although the head to the side, not really in danger of a guillotine choke there, but it looks like Sigvaldason's trying to pull the arm out.
Yeah, trying to get that arm into a position that he can work with, but Keegan's going to move forward here. One of the things that happened, and a little bit of rubber guard action happening here from Sigvaldason, one of the things that happened in the first fight is Oliver didn't do anything on the ground, and the referee running over, those small punches look like a tap out, so good thing that Koivisto didn't stop it. That would be very unfortunate.
Yes.
But yeah, Keegan Oliver didn't do anything on the ground on his top fight, and he stands by his victory, and in his second fight he learned from that, and he just was non-stop. It was, if you go back and watch that fight, I don't think he ever stopped taking him down. It was just takedown, and then he would let him up, punch him a few times, and take him down, and let him up and punch him and take him down. And now controlling on the ground, very difficult to get a wrestler there, but again, some interesting defense by Sigvaldason.
Yeah, Sigvaldason doing a good job of holding Oliver at bay so far. And again, for my money, doing more of the damaging strikes from the bottom. Now, this is what my argument was in Oliver's first fight, was that he wasn't now he's doing some damage of his own right now.
These are big shots coming down here by Keegan.
And I'm sure he can't hear me, but it's like he heard me because I thought, again, in that first fight, while he was on top, he certainly wasn't landing the most damaging strikes.
And this was Keegan baited him into this. You watched him let him crawl up the cage, and he did it just so he could pick him up and slam him down, making impressions on judges. That's what he's here for. Just coming down to our last couple seconds in our feature fight clock that you see in the right-hand corner.
10 seconds now left in round number one. Oliver will likely end it on top, although Sigvaldason does a nice job to squirm out, but just they wait out the end of the first round. Oliver puts his hands up to reinforce to the judges that he's confident he won round number one, and I'll actually go with that on this one. It did look early like Sigvaldason had the better of the striking, but once Keegan Oliver got the takedown, he remained in control throughout the remainder of the round, secured another takedown, like you said, after letting him up on the side of the cage.
Well, and Sigvaldason looks like a very powerful fighter for 125. He manhandled with the upper body. The problem with all that power at 125 is that it takes a lot of energy to be able to power those muscles, and we have a look here at the first part of the fight there. Very quick action. You'll watch the continuity on the wrestling here. Here's great takedown defense, some strikes landed, continuing on, getting his head in good position, and then coming through to end up in a good solid position. Good continuity there by wrestling, and excellent takedown defense by Sigvaldason. A 50-50 exchange in there.
Well, and again, you'll always get here at Hard Knocks because of the owner of Hard Knocks, an Olympian wrestler in the heavyweight class. He will tell you, as other MMA experts will, that wrestling is the best base for an MMA fighter to have before they start training mixed martial arts to be a solid wrestler. We were talking about it before the event tonight. He said that wrestling is the number one thing that fighters at this level need to have a solid base on. And Keegan Oliver, one of the better wrestlers that we have here in the Hard Knocks Fighting Championship.
Yeah, definitely improved his wrestling skills as he goes on, and just some extra cleanup there, some ice down in the corner. We want to make sure it's nice and fair. No wet spots on the cage. Our beautiful Hard Knocks Fighting cage, by the way.
Yeah, new mat with the Hard Knocks Fighting logo in the center. If you want your logo in the center of the Hard Knocks cage. Just contact Hard Knocks Fighting at hardknocksfighting.com. And also, if you want to get into the cage, go to hardknocksfighting.com. Click the Become a Fighter link, as both these fighters have done. Oliver nodding that, yeah, you tagged me with that one, but he's still coming forward.
Again, some good striking here by both guys. Not necessarily damaging striking by either one.
Both fighters really kind of feeling each other out here again early in round 2.
Not a bad kick by Oliver.
Not a bad kick by either man, as they both stepped into one. Oliver's to the midsection, Sigvaldsson's to the leg. Again, exchanging punches coming in. You can see the training that Oliver's had at Beaumont, though. You see that one fist that's staying real tight to his chin that may not have in the past.
Yeah, very tightening up the striking. And again, it's not necessarily about how hard you hit, but how accurate you hit. I've mentioned it before, George St. Pierre is an excellent example. Yes, he hits hard, but boy, does he ever hit accurately. One of the most accurate punchers in the UFC. And he's mentioned in the past that if you hit a guy at 100% accuracy, at 10% power, it's going to feel like the other way around.
Oliver trying to drive through a takedown and does manage to get the takedown there up against the cage. Turns around, spins, and secures again. Fighting for that double leg, closing the hands behind the thighs of Sigvaldsson and able to drive through.
Yeah, it's been a change in wrestling in the last little bit on where your hand position is. It used to be you wanted the hands on the back of the knees. It was an equal balance for takedown defense and attacking. By positioning his hands a little bit higher up, he's actually moving it and making it easier on the center of gravity to take down. And huge elbows being dropped down on the stomach. And it looks like Sigvaldsson is just going to sit there and let him do it. Now, are they causing damage? Maybe not. But in the judges' scorecards, that looks good.
Yeah, again, Keegan Oliver doing damage from the top and doing everything he can to continue on like he did in the first round, doing damage from the top. And again, going to the rubber guard is Sigvaldsson, but Oliver slips that out, and now his one arm is trapped on the other side, and we'll see whether or not Sigvaldsson can do anything with it.
Yeah, switching to and looking for perhaps an omoplata, but Oliver pushing forward and getting out of that position, which is ultimately defense, and keeping his thighs high up on the thighs of his opponent. And Sigvaldsson trying to do some damage here, but Keegan laying on top. I would like to see Keegan busier like he did right at the end there, but again, that looked like a nice solid round for Keegan Oliver.
And they both had something to say to one another at the end of that round. No triumphant arm raise from Keegan Oliver after round number 2.
Well, you know, sometimes you don't necessarily want to show that you won a round. Sometimes the hand raise is to try and push the judges and say, hey, I won that round. And sometimes when you walk away without putting your hands up after a dominant round, like Keegan he didn't necessarily need it there. We look at a replay here. And here's a replay of the takedown in. Watch him position his hands from the back of the knees. They're going to slide up to right underneath the butt of his opponent. And he's going to elevate and place him down. Excellent takedown by Keegan Oliver, very textbook. And looking at Sigvaldsson as he heading to his corner, like Keegan Oliver's last opponent, he's frustrated. He's frustrated that he can't do anything. And Keegan is, he's a vacuum. He just holds the guy in there and doesn't let him go. And he's staying busy on top. I'm concerned that the more judges get to watch Keegan Oliver, the more they're going to think that this doesn't be effective. But again,
it's the flurry of elbows from the top. And again, didn't really look like they were hurting Sigvaldsson all that much. But the impression is, nevertheless, that he's dropping elbows right to your sternum, and you're just lying there not defending it. So, again, good for Keegan Oliver. And Blake Sigvaldsson now coming out with a hurry for round number 3 and trying to get on top, bouncing off the cage, and lands on top of Keegan Oliver. This is something we haven't seen from Keegan Oliver yet. We'll see how he can work from his back.
Yeah, and that was set up the whole way. This is the thought. I'm coming forward against a guy who's known to have good takedowns. What he's going to do is he's going to drop down and try and take me down, which is what Keegan did. Sigvaldason feinted that running forward, and then he stopped and was able to secure a takedown of his own, and now he's on top and looking to advance from here. But again, he's not really remaining all that busy on top, putting some position, maybe trying to work for a submission, but Keegan Oliver actively defending on the ground.
Well, and we do talk about Keegan's wrestling primarily, however, also does train primarily at Gracie Barra, an excellent jiu-jitsu gym with a superb record here in the Hard Knocks Fighting Championship.
Had some great fighters coming out of there. James Haddad, one of the Hard Knocks fighters that had some success outside of Hard Knocks.
And is in Keegan's corner tonight.
And is in Keegan's corner with Josh Russell. And these are successful fighters coming out of Gracie Barra. Again, Keegan Oliver still on the ground with Sigvaldason on top. Not much happening here, though. There's no advancing of position. There's no even some light strikes that you saw from Keegan Oliver. Now he's trying to position pass, but Keegan Oliver going tight, and now he's going for a triangle position. Got a single arm in and looking to tighten it up. He needs to get that foot in behind the knee and extend that arm, but pushing forward, there he is. Now he's got it tight. This might be the first time Keegan Oliver finishes a fight. He's got the triangle in tight. He needs to pull down on the head.
Sigvaldason doing a good job to keep the tension off his neck there by standing up and kind of moving, hunching forward. He takes a little bit of the pressure off his neck and off the choke.
Yeah, he needs to pull that arm in, does Keegan Oliver, but he's trying it, and there's the tap. There is Keegan Oliver getting his first finish. He is jacked up. He finished the fight there. The first time in his career he's got a finish, and pushing his record to 3-0 now at 125. And here's the replay, and he's got him here, and he's going to try and put some pressure.
VIPs, make sure you fill out the ballots at your table to win a 1-week, 7-day, 5-star resort trip to North or South America. Brought to you by Paradise Canyon Vacations.
Winning by triangle choke, and we saw the replay there when Sigvaldason stood up. What he did is he stopped paying attention necessarily to his arm that was trapped. Keegan straightened it out, got the pressure, was able to get his foot down, and secured the win. And again, this is his first win by submission. His first 2 wins have been by via decision, and that's got to be good. And Sigvaldason has nothing to complain about. He came in, he fought well, just ended up to a fighter who is a little bit better at being able to control in Keegan Oliver. Looks like we have the official decision in the center of the cage. We're going to go to Jay to
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the official decision brought to you by Big 4 Motors. The winner by tap out due to triangle choke at 2 minutes and 6 seconds in the 3rd round. In the red corner, Keegan the Condition Oliver.
Keegan Oliver pushes his record to 3-0.
Keegan will get you center of the cage. 3rd time in the Hard Knocks cage. 1st time you didn't go to the judges. How good does that feel?
That feels good. You know, I'm not just a wrestler. You know, I got some good jiu-jitsu too. Great jiu-jitsu drills. Josh Russell, best guy in the city.
Now, it seemed like you were having a tough time in the early going. We've seen you take down opponents at will here in the Hard Knocks cage. This time, not so easy in the early going.
Yeah, he's a little longer than my other 2 guys, so a little more tougher, but he has some good defense. I could have taken some better shots, set up better with my boxing.
Now, I'm sure we got the replay of the finish here. Walk us through the final.
I knew he was coming out hard. I was kind of mad he took me down there, but whatever. And then I knew he was trying to, you know, do a can open, really put pressure on me, and I got a pretty good triangle choke, so I just slapped it on.
Now, it looked like for a minute that he was going to bust out of it, popped up on you. Were you at all concerned he was going to get out?
No, not at all, because I knew I got strong legs and great jiu-jitsu from my coach, Josh Russell.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it one more time for your winner, Keegan Oliver.